Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max.
Welcome, everyone. We are the Geek Patrol, and our microphones don't have a stun setting. I'm Joe Thorderson, here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Alan Gilbreth and Alyssa Diggs and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And let's see, what do we got today? Well, we have to pay tribute.
We do have to pay tribute. We lost a boxing legend, and a culinary genius.
Just an all-around
press genius.
He's just a really good dude.
Everybody loved George. Does anybody Foreman not like George Foreman? How do you not like the guy?
Well, I'm just nerding out on him because of all my martial arts background. Same with Alan, because he helped Muhammad Ali perfect a technique that actually helps you get out of a sticky situation.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So
point at the other guy and run.
And did he? Well, I mean, Well, I guess we'll find out about where the history of the George Foreman grill came from. Looking at Alan.
I can tell you all about that. Yep.
Yeah, he probably made a fortune off of that. It's funny when people, I don't know, anyway, I think almost every home has a George Foreman grill or some variation of that type. And he must have made pretty good money off of that.
Tons of money.
What were you guys talking about before the show about Snow White? Because I was half listening. Because I feel like it's out right now, right?
Right.
I can't say I'm going to go watch it.
I didn't even realize it was out already.
All right.
So here's the thing. Ever since they announced this movie was happening, and you heard people talk about, it's like, we're going to replace the dwarfs with the 7 magical creatures. I'm going to go ahead and give you some spoilers, guys. We've seen the dwarves in the trailer. Those 7 quote-unquote magical creatures were never magical creatures. They're a roving band of bandits that she runs into before she ever meets the dwarves.
Wait, are you saying that's the original Snow White, or is that because the old fairy tales are not usually pleasant,
no. This is something that is just in this movie because they had to find a way to pad it so that it was a 2.5-hour movie as opposed to an 88-minute animation.
It's a 2.5-hour movie.
It's so long.
That's crazy.
What's wrong with why are movies so long today? I mean, back in the day, it was 90 minutes in and out.
Well,
and you're done.
Back in the day, it was 90 minutes so they could max out the number of showings because each movie, if they even got put into the theater, only got one auditorium.
Okay.
Now you've got 14 different auditoriums showing the same movie. We got an IMAX. We got an Atmos. We've got, I don't know what the name of that one is that has like the vibrating seats and the weird, explosions.
Oh yeah, the four-dimensional.
That's like.
I hope those go away. I don't think we need that.
I don't. I want those to continue to go because the people who are extreme psychopaths when it comes to their movies go to those, and then I can go to the nice little quiet, 25 people auditorium and watch it, at the same time.
Right. I don't know, man. Okay. So, but this movie, I don't know if I told you guys, I gave up YouTube for Lent because I was wasting too much time watching all these things on there. And I'm not missing
Very
it,
brave.
honestly. But here's the thing. The one thing that was constantly popping up were videos by these reviewers just ripping this movie apart.
Right.
Just based on the trailers. And, of course, Rachel Zegler doesn't do herself any favors with... She goes to battle on Twitter, and she says what she thinks.
And I can
probably isn't a good idea, but
I can respect anybody who goes out into the world and voices their opinion, whether I agree with it or not. But when you're trying to sell a movie, there's a point where you sit down, you smile, and you poop sunshine because that's what you need to do to make your money. Because eventually someone's going to go, you know what? There's no point in putting her under contract. She's going to go and talk about the movie in a negative light, or she's going to talk about how she didn't like the source material. And she's done this across 3 movies now. I don't know if anybody paid any attention. She wasn't a big fan of West Side Story. She didn't like the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. And she was frightened by the original Snow White.
Well, if you're keeping score, it's actually 4 movies because she said she did Shazam for a paycheck. She couldn't have cared less about that.
But that's anybody who wants to be on to do a DC sequel.
Yeah. I don't know.
And I'm going to give her her props. She's talented. She's got an amazing voice, and she can eat scenery like anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't want her on the marketing team. It's kind of like, It's like with Ezra Miller in The Flash. They kept him in the background. They let him go to the premiere. He didn't really get to talk anything. But we had so many actual scandals with him, whether it be kidnapping and grooming a girl, hitting a woman in the face, choking another person, throwing a lawn chair at somebody, breaking into someone's hotel room. he did a lot.
Yeah.
But she voices her opinion, and it's like, you just want to go, I just need you to talk about the movie, and then you can do all your other stuff, but let's just talk about the movie right now.
Now, I got a question for you guys, because this is a live action, and we know Snow White was what really made Disney Studios what it is, and it launched, and it was it's an epic classic. Well, here's the thing. There's people that don't live on YouTube, and there's people that don't care, and they might just have kids. And what is the fan experience of this movie if you just said, oh, there's a Snow White movie, I'm going to go check it out, you know? I
can answer that right now, because I had a friend take her children to see it.
Okay.
They loved it. They had a blast. And she's into musicals, so she's got, she's whistling along to the songs that, are from the classic. She's learning the new music. They're having a good time. And they went and saw it Friday afternoon after the kids got out of school. And they had a blast.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back to classic Disney.
Let's not.
No, let's do, because
we only have
classic Disney has that 7-year cycle. They did forever. It's coming back from the vault. Get your VHS now. It'll only be in theaters for a week. It'll, Disney has always had built into their system, in their DNA, a cycle. So what's going to happen is they're going to cycle this one back around. They've released it. They're taking their lumps. They're getting slapped around. That's fine. But you know what? Next year, there's going to be another batch of 5-year-olds singing along with it. You know what's going to happen the year after that, and the year after that, and the year after that? In about 7 to 10 years, this is just going to be another standard movie. Disney will recoup. It's not a bad movie.
But that's the whole thing.
It's not horrible.
We don't even have to worry about that anymore, because we don't go to the vault anymore. We go to Disney Plus.
Yes,
and
we
then
do.
Anybody who wants to see it at any given time, they can go see it. And it's like their uncle had a fit that she was taken to this crazy woke movie. I've come to the conclusion from here on out, if you say the word woke, no matter which direction, your opinion is completely invalid.
You know what's funny about that? Because I don't get into those conversations.
Right.
I avoid the whole woke topic. But a lot of times when I hear that, like Captain Marvel, that movie was not really that.
No, not even remotely.
Anyway, we'll have a few more parting thoughts when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. They put on their stormtrooper armor one leg at a time, just like the rest of us. The Geek Patrol is back.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Alan Gilbreth and Alyssa Diggs and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, well, the Snow White movie came out. And for people that don't live on YouTube or don't care about, movie reviewers or commentators and things like that, you wouldn't realize this is sort of a divisive movie. And this movie is annoyed a lot of people. But the average people just going to check it out, I guess they're enjoying it. It's reminding me a little, though, of Star Wars when Jar Jar Binks was announced. And when Jar Jar Binks came out, that was a character designed for children who actually liked that character. We all hated him. And, I mean, I didn't even hate him, but and that poor actor did a great job. But Ahmed Best, and he got all sorts of flack. That guy, it really messed up his career.
Yeah. It's just such a bummer.
Well, yeah, but it's reminding me a little of that. Like, okay.
Well, I've always had this issue.
Yeah.
And it's the same issue I have whenever, I go into a comic shop and I'm listening to someone, cry and moan about, oh my God, did you see what Batman did? Oh my God, look what they're doing with Spider-Man. There comes a point where collectors and nerds in general, I'm sorry, I may upset half of our audience and piss off the other half. You outgrow something, you walk away from it. You don't sit there and cry and moan and complain until they change it for you.
Yeah.
Because every time they do that, those same people get upset because that thing is no longer like it was when they were a kid.
Yeah.
It's like, you're going to be miserable. Go home, be miserable, watch the news and the Weather Channel. Stay out of my way.
It's funny you say that, Brandon, because it's impossible to say I am a blanket Batman fan or I'm a blanket Star Wars fan. And the reason I say that is because, okay, I am a Batman fan, but you couldn't pay me to read a 1950s Batman comic because they were just goofy. They were just completely goofy, childish stories. But
that's something,
but that's for somebody else.
But that was something we had, up until I would say the 90s. maybe. That's what we had is like, your genres, your characters changed with the time. Indiana Jones is a great example. If you pay attention to the way the movies are structured, a lot of people don't like Crystal Skull, but Crystal Skull takes place as a genre movie from the time it takes place, which all of those,
that was a 50s movie.
Right.
Yeah.
It was designed like the serials of the 50s. Before that, it was the noir, almost pulpy, stuff of the 40s. We've done that with comics. We've done that with TV. We've done that with everything until about the 90s when we got this stunted growth of humanity where it became gimme, 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 me, power, 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 mine, mine, mine kind of situation where it had to change with the audience as opposed to being introduced to the new younger audience. And honestly, we can probably trace back the beginning of the downfall of cinema in general, or creatives. I mean, the book industry, everything, to that time when it became about no longer the escapist fantasy, it has to be what I want or it's trash.
Sort of. That's sort of interesting.
I'm not arguing because I'm going to say the minute you could begin espousing whatever trolling you wish to do, and there are a number of people out there that are now professional trolls.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you're not wrong. They make money by
They're not even critics.
Yeah.
Because back in the day of being a critic, you ran the chance that your opinion could be subverted by something you said was one thing and it turned out to be another.
Right.
So you had to gauge yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
The professional quote unquote troll is here to do nothing but say inflammatory things because basically no one is going to punch him in the teeth because they're hidden behind a screen.
Right. And you bring up a good point. Anybody now can be a movie critic. Remember when it's like not only did you had to go see everything. Gene Siskel and
Siskel and Ebert, baby.
And Roger Ebert, they saw everything and they reviewed everything. And their opinions could be harsh, but at the same time, they didn't just view it because as the forms of entertainment. They also talked about everything that went into it. It's like this production value, blah blah blah. They went in, and then of course they did give their opinion, and a lot of time it was pretty harsh because cinema snobs will always be cinema snobs. But now Joe Schmo nobody who just decided he wants a YouTube channel and he can be funny decides he's going to review a movie half the time he ain't seen. And he's going to get tons of views, and because of rage bait and all that jazz, he's going to make a ton of money to do the same thing we're going to do, and that's go sit and watch a movie.
Yeah, but it's getting out of hand. Brandon, didn't you tell me your friend that took their kids to see Snow White? Like there was like pushback from the family.
Yeah, and again,
this is not a political movement. We're taking the kids to see a movie.
We're going to see a movie because we're trying to get away from the horrors that are our society right now.
Yeah.
We want to be able to escape for a minute, and the last thing we need is somebody going, "Oh my God, dwarves woke!" It's like shut the up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
if you can't enjoy this stuff, it's not for you.
Yeah. Yeah, you said something about that. Like if you outgrow something, it is something because, just enjoy. Like I said, for me, there's eras of Batman that I really like. There's some that I don't like. So I gravitate towards the ones that I prefer.
We talk about being blanket fans. I am a blanket Star Wars fan, and that just means that I'm going to give every form of Star Wars that comes my way a chance. Is it all going to resonate with me? No.
Yeah.
Some of it's going to be too serious for what I want. Some of it's going to be too flippant for what I want. Some of it's not going to make any sense. But I can understand that there's an audience for that.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't have to whine because Skeleton Crew skewed a little younger than what I would have wanted. I still enjoyed it.
I actually heard it was pretty good.
It is so much fun.
The Goonies and Star Wars.
It is.
Like that.
Yeah.
But God forbid, that you had a ton of people coming out saying, Star Wars isn't for kids.
Yes, it is.
Where have you been?
My dad was a kid when he saw it. What do you mean?
It's like, I need these people to go back under their rock and realize that their opinions don't matter.
It's funny you say that though, because we have fratricide in Star Wars. We have some pretty horrifying
We
things.
do have
Fathers
some
wanting
horrible
to kill their
things.
children and just
we have some horrible things, yes.
Right,
but
look, even
family-friendly murder.
Look, even
you know.
Shrek told you my dad wanted to eat me.
hey,
You know,
hey,
come on.
Kids' movies,
go
they're
read.
scary.
You know, Grimm's fairy tales were for children.
In the
man.
They were
Lion
the
King
most dangerous
cartoon,
stuff.
he accidentally kills his dad.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we're going to continue the conversation when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Alan Gilbreth and Alyssa Diggs and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And we lost a legend in the realm of boxing, entertainment, and even cooking. And really even just, I guess you could even say motivational speaking, just an all-around fun
He was a
guy.
minister, for goodness sake.
Yeah, he was a minister. He was
Let's not get too excited. I'm one of those.
a very positive life force. The legendary George Foreman. Now that only leaves us with what, 7 more George Foremans, Alan? Because I mean, didn't he name all his kids George? And
Well, that way when he yelled, George, come here, everybody showed up, according to him. One of the most
a fun guy, though.
Yeah, one of the most devastating boxers in his prime. He was, he is on the Mount Olympus of,
Oh yeah.
of pugilism because he was absolutely
Phenomenal.
amazing.
It's saying something if the first time you ever lost a boxing match was against Muhammad Ali. And that's only because Muhammad Ali was afraid of him. He had to back up to the ropes in order to, duck away from Foreman's power.
yeah, and he came up hard, right? Didn't he have a rough upbringing? I thought.
Well, he did, and I'm going to say the number one thing that made this man one of the greatest people that ever lived was he retires from boxing. He retires. He goes back to his life. He's going on doing his thing, and decided he wanted to raise money for his Boys and Girls Club. And now it's been a few years. He's put on a few pounds. He shaved his head. What does he do? He gets back in the heavyweight pro ring again.
Heck yeah.
That's right. He did a late. He came back late.
He came back late, and I think he had more fun the second time around than he ever had the first time.
Even though his last time he did boxing, he lost. But that's okay.
Well, I mean,
come on.
boxing is a hard sport.
It is brutal. It is absolutely brutal.
He even said he wanted to fight Mike Tyson. So it's like he got beat by Muhammad Ali, so he wants back at one of the biggest champions again. This guy's relentless.
Yeah, it's welcome to being George. But let's go to what he's really famous for.
Yeah, here we go. I knew we're only 2 minutes in, and we knew what Alan was going to go for.
Well, let's get it out there because it has the longest name of any product ever. The George Foreman Lean, Mean, Fat-Reducing Grilling Machine.
Is that what it's called?
That is the
That is the
official
official
name of the product.
Oh, I thought
It
it was
is
just the
better
George
known
Foreman
as
grill.
the George Foreman Grill, but the actual name is huge.
Now, hey, Alan, just quick question.
He did
because,
not invent it, by the
Alan,
way.
you're a culinary guy. Are you one of these guys in the cooking parlance or whatever you call it? Do you call it the GFG? Or the, you know what I mean? I can see Brandon calling it that. You're all about
dude,
the initials
no, that's
and
that's
stuff.
just the foreman.
Okay.
Yeah.
The foreman.
That's all it
pretty
is.
good, yeah.
It's the foreman.
Grab
Well,
the foreman. We're
I've
making
had-
sandwiches.
I have had 4 different variations on the foreman. I had the small grill when we had the apartment, and then later on, once we got the house, I had the one that had the bun steamer on top, so you did the burgers and you could steam your bread.
Yeah.
I had the panini press. But I don't have any now.
I made the paninis
And it's
because they were.
Alan's fault.
Yeah. Oh,
Well, Michael Boehm and Robert Johnson were the designers from Illinois that came up with this idea. And they hooked up with, as I recall, it was Spectrum Brands. And then history was made.
I want them to make a documentary about this.
Now,
Yeah.
Like one of those
Didn't-
dramatized ones.
right now, didn't it get introduced to George as a prototype when George had a deal with QVC?
Yeah, they were trying to call it the short order grill.
Right.
And he took one look at it, and that is when he said, literally, he took one look at it and went, "No, what you really got there is a lean, mean, does the whole thing."
Good for
and
him.
wow, did that stick. And, this is one of these things where, all right, he rose to prominence. He made his way to fame.
Yeah.
And he could have faded off. Instead, he kept having fun. And every time he got interviewed, he was fun. Every time he was an announcer at a ball game, or because he did a little bit of everything.
He really did.
He was even on Futurama one time.
Yeah, he would drop into things.
That was a low point in his career.
But he was always smiling. He made you feel good, like he was a happy guy.
Yeah, it's like he never seemed to have after the boxing career, he never really seemed to have a bad thing to say about anybody.
Mm-hmm.
He
Which
was,
is saying something.
He was a force of positivity.
Yeah. But the George Foreman grill, though, I mean, that was would it be as prominent if he wasn't the face of that?
Oh, no.
I don't think so.
No.
He's such a good salesperson and so charismatic. I think it made people excited about it.
Yeah.
Well, and he introduced, basically, if you go to your big box store, you walk down 2 aisles of machines, and Brandon and I are kind of infamous for waffle makers.
Yeah.
I will freely admit, now, even if you're a waffle maker and you want Brandon and I to be excited about your waffle maker, we'll be happy to do it. But, he introduced this whole line of kitchen, let's put it on the counter.
Yeah.
And I got to look at this and say, George is the reason so many of these products are on the market 25, 30 years later.
Yeah.
I mean, he's left a lasting mark. And I'd like to think he was having as much fun as we think he was.
I think so. I've heard that it's very fun to be on QVC, to be honest.
It sounds like a blast,
Wait, how old was he? And how did he die?
74.
76.
Okay, so
No,
he was
74. I'm pretty sure.
okay. Did he go
Nope,
peacefully?
76.
What happened?
Got it on screen. 76.
Okay, I hope it was a peaceful. I have to believe it's going to be.
I haven't seen what he.
You know what it reminds me of? When Harry Carey died, they said that was one of the funnest funerals of all time. It was like a party. I have to believe his funeral will be the same way.
Well, they said he passed away peacefully at the Houston hospital.
Okay.
So he was surrounded by his loved ones, and
Okay.
that's about as good as you can do.
Yeah, he had a great run. So George Foreman, you will be missed, but you'll never be forgotten.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
And Harry Potter and all his wizard friends went straight to hell for practicing witchcraft.
And welcome back to
Hey,
Geek
Max,
Tank Radio.
You
everybody.
gotta lay off the Simpsons quotes. It kills Joe.
No, that one's good. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Alan Gilbreth and Alyssa Diggs and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And you guys, we're all feeling a bit nostalgic today. We have to. Well, we're not saying goodbye, Alyssa, but we are gonna. This is gonna be your last broadcast for a while.
Yes.
Where
Just for
you
a little
going?
bit. I'm moving to Philadelphia. I leave the 1st of April. I'm very excited, but very sad.
You've never lived anywhere but Memphis.
No, I've been here for 24 years. I don't want to cry on the radio.
You're allowed to. They can't see it.
But I am. I'm excited, but I'm going to miss you guys a lot.
Dude, you were gonna just knock it out of the park,
Thanks.
and you're gonna get into the fashion game, and you're gonna be
I'm
able to
excited.
jet set down here all the time anyway.
Yeah,
It'll
I'll be
only,
down all the time.
I say within the year you'll be flying down every week. Well, don't fly.
Right.
I mean,
Find a private bus or something.
Right.
Yeah, something
Well,
safe.
something like Cody's got.
Yeah,
Well, listen,
yeah.
Look at it this way: you're just expanding the franchise.
Yeah.
You're just moving in. You have Philly's new territory, ready to
Exactly.
be taken over.
We're gonna take it up over there,
Yep.
Well, Alyssa, when I was 21, I moved from Chicago to San Diego, and I'm just going to tell you, it's exciting. It can be a little depressing. It's a
Yeah.
whatever, but you got to give yourself 6 months. That's what I found. It takes a little bit to adjust to. You give yourself 6 months, you're going to make a lot of new friends. You're going to get used to the environment. You'll get a feel for the city. Now, I don't know much about Philadelphia. Have you guys
beautiful. I've been able to visit quite a few times over the last summer, and I love it up there. It's like if Memphis and New York had a baby, I would call it Philadelphia.
Is it bigger than Memphis? I guess.
Probably.
I know older for sure.
Pennsylvania's a giant state, first of all. I thought it was small like the rest of the states up there. Ginormous. Bigger than Tennessee.
I got family all over the place.
Yeah, Pennsylvania's huge.
Yeah.
Their
tiny towns are awesome.
I like the Northeast. I wouldn't want to live there because of the winters and all of that. But
well, they're more equipped for it too because they have to live through it all the time. So they just kind of keep going, business as usual, instead of like in Memphis where everything closes for a week and a half.
And one thing too, you can either get on a train or just take a drive, and you can be at some pretty cool places.
Train to New York
hours.
is like an hour, 20 minutes, hour 30,
right.
And like $70, and you're in New York City. And it's just so nice, so nice to be so close to so many cities up there.
It's cool. I mean, Alyssa, we met you. We've known you since 2012, right?
Yeah, I think the first year I came to MCFC, I was 15, 16. I came as an attendee, and then the next year I was a volunteer, and then the next year I think I got on staff permanently.
Yeah, I don't know why. I've always thought you were like 12 when you signed up. You looked a lot younger.
Yeah. I've always been short, so when I was a teenager, it was like way worse for me.
Until COVID, she was 12.
Like a teenager, yeah.
Yeah.
But that aged all of us.
Yeah, man.
How are you feeling though? Because you must have a certain adventurous spirit if you're going to do this, because moving away from your home.
Yeah, I feel excited but very nervous. I think it helps that I have like friends up there and like a small but a little bit of a system already like up there, so it won't be too like it's not like I'm going by myself and I have to make all new friends and relationships immediately, which is really nice. And then I had gotten laid off from my work from home job earlier this year, which was really scary, but in reality, it's just going to push me to make more friends because I'm going to have to be in public a lot. So I think that's nice. You know, it's a blessing in disguise that I'll have to go work with people again.
Now, I got a question, Alyssa, and don't feel like you know, you can answer honestly. There's some pretty big conventions up there. In fact, I happen to know Philadelphia, I think, has a fairly sizable. Are you going to try to volunteer with them, or is your heart always going to be?
My heart is always going to belong to Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention. It's truly what I think developed me into the person I am, and like the connections that I'm making up in Philadelphia are in turn because of the work and like the training I've gotten in the years that I've worked on the staff. So like I can't imagine my life without it. I don't think I want to work for any other conventions up there. It's not really in my. I'll probably go to them, but I don't think I'll work for them.
Okay. Yeah, I just wonder what it would be like to be with a mega, big.
Well,
giant.
see, what's amazing is that
probably
I
scary.
can totally ship promo cards up to you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, are we going to get much business from Philadelphia? Do you think that somebody's going to drive all the way down here for,
I can't explain the reason why I believe that on the air.
Oh, okay. Hey, Alyssa, stupid question, but the Philly cheesesteak is are you into those sandwiches?
Yeah, they're delicious. They're so good.
Why? Why are they so different there than anywhere else?
Like everything, it's just better when you get it where it's supposed to be.
Dude,
Memphis barbecue anywhere else, it just isn't as good. You get Gus's anywhere else, it's just not as good.
Yeah, dude, Gino's, an original. It's like you got to. Yeah. It's just there's something about having something where it originates.
New York City bagels are best in New York City.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know why that is though. With today, like I've heard that the Philly cheesesteak has to do also with the water that goes into the bread.
I'm sure there's just something.
Well, that's a bagel situation too.
Yeah.
How is it that you're not responding, Alan? I mean, I'm throwing you every bit of bait.
I'm letting Alyssa run with the ball, but no, it's kind of like the saltwater taffy.
Okay.
All right. There's no salt water in taffy, but it was because it was made there on the boardwalk and that particular location, and then you add everything to it. Yeah. The equipment, the water, the ingredients, the salt air, the whole thing. And that just made the product as its original. When you move it, like you said, Memphis barbecue.
It's just not the same anywhere else.
Inside of Shelby County, Memphis barbecue is the bomb.
Yeah.
When you have Memphis-style barbecue at any of the thousands of other cities somebody has taken me to and fed it to me, it's kind of like, well, it was pig.
Yeah.
It was nice. It was a
pork.
nice try, but it ain't Memphis.
Yeah.
You did your best.
You're not
You
wrong.
go to a Philly cheesesteak, you got, what, 3 restaurants up there all claim to invent it?
Yeah.
There's 3 weekends right there just
literally.
comparing notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Alyssa, we're not saying goodbye. We're going
No.
to say see you later because you know how that is. And luckily, with modern technology, we can stay in touch pretty easily. And hopefully, you'll be making it down for the Memphis
I'm
Comic
coming.
and
I will
Fantasy
be.
Because
Convention.
it's like
So-
Lilo and Stitch. It's Ohana.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
don't know what you people are talking about. I'm going to make her buy a ticket when she comes in.
My first time. I'm so excited.
All right, so we'll be following your career with great interest, Alyssa, and we love having you around. But with good luck in Philadelphia. But you guys, it's time to get out of here. The show's over. Goodbye. So until next week, we are the Geek Patrol, and I am Joe Thorderson.
I'm Alan Gilbreth.
I'm Maximilian.
I'm Alyssa Diggs.
And I am Brandon Olmsted, wishing you all your lean, mean, grilling dreams.